It's Birdman, baby! It's Birdman, baby. And today I decided to take somewhat of a spontaneous trip up to Hanging Rock State Park. Today I am going to attempt to complete the Hanging Rock 5-Peak Challenge. What is the Hanging Rock 5-Peak Challenge? The Hanging Rock 5-Peak Challenge is an attempt to hike in one try, in one succession, to all 5 major peaks in Hanging Rock State Park. Now, to do this, you hike a series of trails. There will be some backtracking on some of the trails, but for the most part, it is considered a loop. So, and upon completion, you will have hiked over 10 and a half miles. I'll have to double check the exact numbers on that. Now, I know what some of you are probably thinking. You're probably thinking, well, some of you super hiker enthusiasts are probably thinking, that's not enough for me. I need more. Well, if you want a tougher challenge, there's another option for you. You can actually start at the Dan River Access and hike 3.6 miles up to where we are right now. Now, at that point, you would proceed to hike the 5-peak loop and then hike 3.6 miles back down. That would give you a grand total of well over 17, maybe even close to 18 miles. Now, I am not going to do that today. The reason why I am not going to do that today is because, well, quite frankly, number one, I'm just out of shape. And number two, time is a luxury that I do not have. For me to pull that off, I would have to devote an entire day to it as opposed to starting in the early afternoon like what I'm doing right now. And if I'm going to devote an entire day of hiking, there's several other places I would like to try that at. I've hiked all of this here. I'm not taking away from the beauty of it, but anyway, so here's what we're going to do. We'll throw some, but I'm going to begin this video by adding some bonus footage from a previous hike from last year. You do decide to start at the Dan River Access and hike that additional mileage. I will show you some video from a hike from when I did that hike last year up to this point where we're at now. At the visitor center parking lot is where we're at. Then we shall proceed to record live the hike I'm doing today, and we'll go from there. Let's do this. We are at the Dan River, and this is where we are beginning our journey today. We are on the Indian Creek Trail, and we are going to the top of Hanging Rock. We actually cross right here. Okay, let me put the phone up for this. Just be aware, if you start at the Dan River Access, not too far into it, you literally have to cross 3 times, and I don't remember it being this high last time, so just prepare to get your feet wet. Birdman, baby. Okay, so After you cross the river, you go up an incline, and then it kind of flattens out, and it might even go downhill a little bit to get to the road, at what point you will cross over the road, enter the state park, begin the real climbing, and you'll also go with the Mountains to Seas Trail for a moment. So okay. So as soon as you cross the road, we are now on the Mountains to Seas Trail, which I believe actually follows the road down to the right when you're coming back. But we're going to be on the Mountains to Seas Trail next 1.6 miles. Yeah, the toughest part of the climb. The visitor center here at Hanging Rock. Yep. Okay, we are live again. First destination, the most popular and most crowded, Hanging Rock. As you come down from Hanging Rock, we passed this on the way up, but rather than going back to the visitor center, we branch off to the left. Wolf Rock Trail. And we will head to our second destination, the second peak or point or whatever, Wolf Rock. Past experience tells me that once you break off over here, you leave the crowds mostly behind. It's pretty crowded out here today. Curious to see. But usually you get at least a little more solitude from here on out. This is Wolf Rock. Some other rock outcroppings right here in this vicinity. You have an increased probability of finding your own private spot. No one is around me right now to my knowledge. You do get more, it's not quite as... I'd highly recommend coming and exploring this side of the park. Cook's Wall is back in that direction. House Rock and then Cook's Wall. That's where we're heading next. So if you reach a point to where you've decided you've had enough and you don't want to continue on this 5-peak journey, down this way is a bailout point. 7/10 of a mile to the lake parking, mostly downhill. I, maybe against my better judgment, am going to continue forward to Cook's Wall. Got some rocky sections through here. Always watch your step for ankle breakers and junk like that. Another bailout point if you've decided you've had enough. We will actually go down that way to the Moore's Wall Trail after hiking back from Cook's Wall, 1.1 miles from here. This is House Rock. Hanging Rock, our first peak. This looking south. Cook's Wall. Past that point, the trail goes about another 100 yards, 100, or actually less than that, I would say. Give you a look on the other side of the ridge, and if you can look at the top of that top peak right there, you may or may not can make out a tower up there, a short tower. That is Moore's Wall. That is the 5th and final destination in this 5-peak journey. But the hardest is still to come. If you were to ever do a long through hike, or a section hike, or heck, even a long day hike and didn't want to carry a lot of water, coming across something like this would be a good water find. Although at this elevation, I would still filter it. Right here is decision time. For those of you in optimal cardio condition, the decision is easy. When you come off this trail, you turn left onto Moores Knob Trail, and you complete this 5-peak challenge. However, for those of us who are less cardio inclined at the moment, you may be feeling it when you hit this point, about 6.3 miles in. You can go back that way and be back to parking in less than a mile. It might be the hardest decision you have to make because you want to finish this. However, you also realize that you have to, basically everything you just descended, you have to climb it all again and then some, and you may be feeling it. I should honestly probably have turned right, but I'm turning left because I'm an adventure-loving idiot. You know what? They may have to wheel me into church tomorrow. I don't know. Let's do this, because this is, if you can do it, then Moores Knob or Moores Wall, whatever it's called, it is my favorite spot in the entire park, short of the waterfalls. But as far as views go, and you'll see why when we get there. I will get there if I have to crawl up there. Birdman, baby. By the way, I forgot to mention, we are back on the Mountains to Sea trail. Oh yeah. That trail will take you to Torrey's Den. That is the one place in the park I think it's the only place in the park I've yet to hike to. We may do that on another video. If you're coming west from the Mountains to Sea trail, you come from that way, going through the park. When you hit this trail, you can turn left and go the way that we're going, or you can turn right. I believe both are considered, since this is a loop trail, and regardless of what direction you turn, you're going to end up at the same place. Both directions are considered part of the trail, the Mountains to Sea trail. 1.4 miles to Moores Knob. We got this. Up to this point, the Moores Knob trail has been a gradual incline. I think we're hitting to the point where it's going to start getting steeper. We shall descend down that way. We came from back there. A few short steps up to the tower. That was tough. I'm not even using my stick. I know it's shaky. I don't care. I'm still alive. Actually, no, that ain't gonna work. Didn't record much after Morris Knob because I was just too tired. That last climb, I kind of overdid it. But we're a couple tenths from the car now. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, when I edit, put a couple minutes of video from that last couple miles of trail from last year, just to kind of simulate what I just did. And then I'll wrap it up back at the car. We did it though. We're going to finish with about 10.7 today. I'll take it. Coming back down. But let's check out this balanced rock thing real quick. Is that what they call it, balanced rock? Looks like it's balanced on that. But there are several stone steps on this side. It's flattened out a little bit for the moment, but make no mistake. If you choose to come up this way that I'm going down, there are significantly more steps. Trail comes out at a campground. Got tents and stuff set up. And continues through here. Followed the road for 100 feet or so, then you turn to the left. 0.6 miles left. Where we'll then kind of skirt by the lake. Yeah, I see the sign. As you can see, the lake is officially open for swimming for the season. Lake through there. That's about a couple tenths of a mile or so.